Well, now, a question about Great Expectation from Malaysia, from Nuraini Midin, who emailed this. One thing puzzles me about Dickens, his obsession with orphans. So his obsession with misunderstood children and orphans.
His interest in children, of course, goes back to his interest in his own childhood, which was very eventful. To summarise very briefly, he had 5 wonderful years living in Kent, in Rochester and Chatham, where his father was working for the Navy Pay Office, between 5 and 10, roughly. And during those years, he learnt to read, and he read a lot of stories, 18th century novels, fairy stories, and he went to school. And it was a school in which the teacher recognised that he was an exceptional child. And so he began to blossom. He began to have a sense of himself as having a great future. Then his father was sent back to London to work in London, Camden Town. He returns. There's no school spoken of. He stays at home, cleaning his father's boots, looking after the younger brothers and sisters. His father is getting into debt. He has to, Charles has to take the books, the furniture to the pawn shop. His father goes off to prison. Charles is found by a family friend a menial job working in a factory down by the river, putting boot polish into jars. And this is traumatic for him. That formed him in so many ways and gave him always an intense sympathy for children.
Simon, I quite like your view also on Dickens and children, and we've got a question that overlaps a bit with that. It's from Mumbai in India. It's from Shads Kochar. And she writes this: in so many Dickens novels, why is a child the protagonist and his point of view the driving force? And this is the bit that she adds, which is a slightly different twist. When the world the novelist creates is dark enough to scare even the most seasoned adult. I mean, he does place children in really quite frightening worlds.
Yes, I mean, the books aren't written for children. Dickens was the pioneer, as I understand it. Oliver Twist is the first novel with a child as the protagonist. And many of these novels are about the making of a personality. Obviously, David Copperfield, clearly, Oliver Twist, clearly, Great Expectations, about how a person is formed from childhood. And he was, I think, very original in that, in saying it all starts there.